Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you're doing great. I'm doing awesome because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite anime, Black Butler. I really enjoyed the Emerald Witch arc, probably more than the public school one because of its spookiness. It really feels like a dark fairy tale, like something out of the Grimm storybook. Well, until about episode 8, when it takes a turn and the story feels like it could fit in with the Grimm anthology, which are anime retellings of Grimm fairy tales. So if you liked this season, you'd probably like that series. I made a video about that one as well, it's on Netflix. There's going to be spoilers throughout this video, so maybe don't watch it if you haven't watched Emerald Witch arc yet. The season begins with two German men hunting in a spooky forest. They see mysterious beasts that look like werewolves and contract a strange illness from the fog that hangs around this forest. And so the Queen's dog and his butler are sent to investigate these strange goings-on. I appreciate the effort the makers of this anime went through to have German characters speak German, or imply that they're speaking German, and to give them accents when they speak English, and to bear in mind that they wouldn't be able to speak it well, and to overall maintain that there would be communication issues between the Germans and the English. Presented with the possible existence of werewolves, Ciel is doubtful while Sebastian is more open-minded. In a world where demons and reapers exist, werewolves and witches are not that far-fetched in my humble opinion. Part of me wishes there actually were witches and werewolves in the world of Black Butler, but I do appreciate the ongoing theme of scientific experimentation producing seemingly supernatural phenomena, like the zombies we've seen in previous seasons, resulting from experiments to produce immortality. I've come to see that this mix of the supernatural and the scientific is a key characteristic of Black Butler and creates suspense in a season like this one. I felt I could legitimately entertain the idea that witches and werewolves exist, while simultaneously entertaining the idea that there is something else going on here, which creates build-up to the point where the story picks a path. Magic or science? In this case, it was science. At this point in the anime, we're in the year 1889, just 25 years from the start of the First World War, so it does track that the villains are Germans conducting experiments to create a bioweapon, but the way they went about it is certainly creatively cruel. Poor Sieglinde didn't deserve all that. So now I'm going to give a rundown of the plot of this season to refresh it in your mind. Ciel and Sebastian, accompanied by their staff Finian, Baldoy, Mirin, and Tanaka, arrive in an isolated German village to find all the residents dressed like it's the Middle Ages. There's seemingly only one man, and this adorable little girl claims to be a witch and is the one in charge. Luckily for the team, Sebastian speaks German, because what kind of self-respecting butler would not be able to provide everything that his master requires? The villagers want these English spies out of their village, but the little witch Sieglinde is too intrigued to send them away. She wants to know all about the outside world. She is also fascinated by Ciel, who is possibly the only boy her own age she's ever met. And our poor young master is quite awkward with the young lady, perhaps more accustomed to spending time with adults than children his own age. Have we ever seen him make a face as cute as this one? I really liked Sieglinde. She's kind-hearted, fun, and takes her duties very seriously. She has a noble soul and is full of curiosity, and I'd be happy if she becomes part of the recurring cast. Wolfram is her butler, and I liked him too, despite a lot of his suspicious behavior. He's also a big strong man, so maybe I'm biased. He is not so good at cooking and other duties typical of a butler, and Sebastian finds it disgusting. He takes over much of the cooking while he's there and changes Sieglinde's life with his culinary delights. Sieglinde loves to read, and as far as she knows, there is one thing that men want from women, and she seems fully ready to share some carnal knowledge with Ciel, but she does not know that our young man is already spoken for, and Lizzie would not appreciate this. I also worried that this kind of forwardness might be a trigger for him, considering his past, which might have contributed to what happens next. Sebastian and Ciel venture into the forest to investigate and are infected by the mist, causing us to witness something I never thought we'd see. Sebastian crying. And of course, he's not crying, his eyes are producing tears to deal with the irritant. Ciel breaks out in sores and Sebastian takes him to the witch requesting aid. She quickly helps him, submerging him in water and preparing a remedy for him. For her, it's more like a potion and an accompanying spell. Sebastian forces him to consume it by forcing it down his throat. And this pain, confusion, powerlessness, this sense of something being done to him without his permission leads to a kind of mental break and regression. This is the way I interpreted it. There is a moment when Sieglinde is doing his spell and Sebastian licks his lips, and I was wondering, is he sensing magic in this moment? It ended up being a tick in the column that there could be magic going on and Sieglinde could actually be a witch. But now that I try to think about it, maybe he was enjoying the severity of the situation, or perhaps he liked Ciel's pain, maybe? Or he enjoyed Sieglinde's performance of witchcraft? Who knows what gets demons going? After this, Ciel is cured, but is now blind, even though nothing is wrong with his eyes, and completely unlike himself, or at least the version of him that we have come to know in the series. He is terrified and frantic and doesn't want any adults to touch him, not even Sebastian, and so Finn becomes his caretaker. And we learn that the poor boy knows German because his incredible strength is the result of German experimentation. He experienced some true horror before Ciel took him in and gave him the name Finian, naming him after a book, and that is how he became our sweet-natured gardener. There are so many hurt children in this anime. The villagers call for the eviction of the English, demanding the witch protect her village and focus on completing her ultimate spell. Ciel's condition worsens when he's attacked by a werewolf in his bedroom. His fear is constant and pronounced. He is depressed and lackluster, and Sebastian despairs. What is he supposed to do in this situation? Inside Ciel, two versions of himself converse. One without the curse mark on his eye, who is like the Ciel we've come to know, and a boy who has the curse mark, who is afraid, the version of Ciel we currently see. Which self will he choose to embody? Either one is okay, as long as he makes the choice purposefully. I was pleased to see that these two embodiments of his personality are kind to each other, and his more confident version seems to have a lot of patience and empathy for the version of him that is still immersed in his pain and suffering. Meanwhile, Sebastian is at his wit's end and decides to take drastic measures to either snap Ciel out of his funk or end it all. He anticipated much more fun and a much richer meal at the end of this whole journey, but Ciel's soul in its current state will suffice.
Abandoning the vengeance you once swore is a breach of our contract. A pity that our story should have such a prosaic ending.
Something is wrong with me because the more Sebastian slips into his demon mode, the more I like it. I adore all the swirling black devilry. The reminder of what Sebastian is, his evil consumes everything. And we really see that for Sebastian, this is all about the deal. All he seeks is to entertain himself and to satisfy his desire and his hunger. And if Ciel is going to be boring, he's got no patience for that. The sequence depicting Ciel's mental state and how he breaks out of it was excellently done. We see his more confident version embracing his fearful self, almost forgiving his weakness, until he pushes back. Is this what you sacrificed me for? To die without your vengeance? You gave up my soul for this. Shame for everyone who died to achieve such a miserable end. And then he's in a cage. Joker, Doll, his aunt, and his parents are there. They guess why he sold his soul. Why did you do it, Ciel?
I took your hand to repay my defamations, for retribution. Not for friends or family. did it for me!
And so he returns to himself, remembers why he's putting himself through all of this, why he's gone through everything that he has so far. His selfish heart desires vengeance for everything that was done to him, for everything that was taken from him. None of that can go unpunished. In this season, we learned more about Ciel's experiences when he was taken and kept in a cage. It's really heartbreaking and genuinely chokes me up. Seeing him depressed and afraid pulled at my heart, and I didn't expect to ever see Ciel like that. It highlights how much inner strength and deliberate choice it takes for Ciel to be the version of himself we're familiar with. He's always having to push back the darkness. And this is a sidetrack, but it's why I like Lizzie so much. I'm not in favor of little kids being engaged to each other, but she is lovely and would be a light in his life. He deserves kindness and laughter and fun after all the pain that he's gone through. I appreciated this articulation of Ciel's desire for revenge. He places himself at the center. He wants power and the means to make those who ruined his life pay for what was done to him. Ciel cusses Sebastian out, "Unhand me, you brute," and our demon is surprised and pleased. The fun isn't over yet. I also noted that Ciel didn't flinch or look away from Sebastian in his more demonic form. And in the next episode, the duo are back together again and entice the little witch out of her bedchamber with the promise of the outside world. Her curiosity is voracious and she longs to learn more. Her butler, Wolfram, is very against that idea, and I thought it was sweet that it seemed to genuinely hurt him to have to squash her world down, to force her to stay in the village, to force her to kick the English out even though she really enjoys having them there and gaining all of these new experiences. He wants her to live big, but he can't. And as we learn a little bit later on, it's because if she leaves, the order is to kill her. Sebastian and Ciel take the little witch to the basement under the basement, revealing a secret lab. And this is when we learn that Sieglinde is not a witch. She's an alchemist, a natural-born chemistry genius. And this whole town, the legends, and everything her life is composed of has been specifically constructed to create the perfect environment for her to focus and create the most dangerous chemical weapon known to man. And all of this was her own mother's idea. The wolves are men in suits, and everyone has been lying to her. Sebastian sounds delighted to relay this information to her. He is endlessly amused by humans' capacity for cruelty. I wouldn't be surprised if he even likes the taste of Sieglinde's pain as well. I mean, they even broke her feet. They didn't need to break her feet. It's despicable what they did to her. Another hurt child for our collection. The English flee with Sieglinde while the Germans mobilize to pursue them. Sebastian stays behind to unleash himself and destroy the lab and all research materials. Our demon must have been missing home because that's certainly a hellish inferno. These moments in the fire are also Sebastian's coolest. In my opinion, it's like the flames make him high. I also continue to find it amusing that he uses silverware as weapons. Sieglinde is understandably broken-hearted. Her world is shattered and she is shaken. Ciel, in a shocking move, points a gun at her and offers to kill her. Do you feel so hopeless that you'd rather end it all now? What do you want? She tells him all she wants is to disappear. What a shame, he responds. Now you'll never get to use your genius for good, to make a medicine as powerful as the poison. Which she could do because she did treat Ciel and save him from the effects of the mustard gas. It wasn't a spell, it was her. Her potion was medicine. And this suggestion sparks a flame in Sieglinde, giving her something to strive for, a goal to reach and something to live for. Yes, that's exactly what she will do. She will make the ultimate medicine. And just like that, Ciel lifted her out of the depths of desolation. He did for her what he had to do for himself. In order to climb out of his own dark place, he seized tightly to the goal of revenge. There is no one more equipped to help her than him. He knows how much you need something to hold on to. They switch places, so the soldiers chase after Ciel while Finian runs off with Sieglinde. The plan goes well until our English realize Wolfram is a beast, and he quickly gains the advantage over Baldroy. You can feel his desperation to retrieve Sieglinde. He knows they'll kill her before letting her get away, and I'm sure he's fueled by the desire to fix things between them. He dodges a point-blank shot from Ciel and begins to strangle him. It's clear that he blames the boy for ruining everything and breaking his relationship with Sieglinde. Ciel is saved by a new arrival, Diedrich, his father's friend from back in their school days. He was the green one, so he was probably really athletic in his youth. He's less so now, but still an asset to the team. We see a flashback of Diedrich and Vincent having tea or something together, and little Ciel joining them, and he really was such a cute little boy, and it becomes evident that Vincent suspected that something might happen to him, and that if anything ever happened to him, Ciel would be able to depend on Diedrich, because despite his demeanor, he's a very kind and caring person. I definitely like seeing these flashbacks of Vincent, but I would also like to see some of his mom as well. The Germans unleash a Panzer, which is a German tank prototype, and Sebastian arrives to save them from that, which is the most epic weapon that they've ever seen. Ciel advises Sebastian to attack the Panzer's weak spot, which would be the top of it, the ceiling, and I appreciated the quick response of the soldiers when they saw that Sebastian had ripped off the lid and they emptied their clip promptly. But guns don't work on demons, and so these women are absolutely terrified and stunned before they die, as they deserve. It's like finding out the devil is real just before you're killed, knowing you've committed some truly despicable acts. There's a lot of killing during the escape. Our team eliminates all the bad guys, and I don't think we've seen this much death. If I recall correctly, the only time Sebastian really ended a whole bunch of people was on the ship when it was zombies, right? It's not a complaint, just an observation. And during the escape, my heart was aching for Wolfram. He loves his little mistress, and the German soldiers are fully trying to kill her now that she's fulfilled her purpose. This fills him with rage and determination, and he betrays his comrades to save her, running after the train as they escape.
I'm sorry that we lied to you! That I lied to you! It's all right if you hate us, and you don't have to forgive us! But still, my lady, please no! You are!
No, Wolfram, how tragic it would have been if he had died at this moment without expressing himself fully to her.
My lady, you are not a fish. You're a girl, a perfectly normal girl.
We learn that he was raised to be a soldier, to fight and die and follow orders. Ever since he was a small child, he didn't even know what he was really fighting for, just some abstract idea, until he was given the assignment to be this little girl's butler and bodyguard. And now it makes sense why he was so bad at cooking and household stuff, because that is not what his training was for. With Sieglinde, for the first time in his life, he played and joked, and they came to care about each other. When he sees the drawings of the two of them together that she made as a small child, he cries. He cries knowing that this little girl loves him. She cares about him. And man, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. And after witnessing all of this, I really thought that this was going to be where he dies. that what we were seeing was a Reaper reviewing his life, but no! Sebastian saves him on Ciel's orders. He says Sieglinde will need someone like him on her side to protect her, which is true, and also maybe he just didn't want her to lose everything. After all, he knows what that feels like. Sieglinde cauterizes Wolfram's injury with a hot blade, and she is able to forgive him. Because she's just a precious child, isn't she? I'm really glad their story worked out this way, that they got to stick by each other's side. The last 2 or 3 episodes focus on the gang back in England. The Germans need to learn manners, English, and get proper clothing. Sieglinde cuts her hair, and Sebastian despises it because he thinks such short hair is very improper for a young lady. Sebastian is a tyrant in teaching Sieglinde, and I like the touch that he changes his hairstyle when he's in teacher mode. Lizzie visits and sees Ciel on top of Sieglinde after the pair took a tumble, and she moves to kick him in the head. What a severe reaction. Luckily, Sebastian was there to protect him, and after clearing up the misunderstanding, they all become friends, and Lizzie smooths things over a lot. She really would make a good partner for Ciel, who can be cold and harsh. In the end, Sieglinde becomes an asset of the Empire, having made a positive impression on the Queen. She does not share the formula for her saline gas, which is a good thing, because they for sure would have used it, and Sebastian chucks the only vials into a cavern in the ocean. Hopefully, that won't harm any sea life in the future. When they're all having tea with the Queen, there's a moment when she points out that Ciel is beginning to look a lot like his father, and he reacts in a bit of a surprised way and expresses pleasure for the comparison. Later, when he and Sebastian are in the carriage, they have this interaction.
It's over. Take me home so I can sleep for a week.
They do say rest is important for a growing land. What? Is there something on my face?
No, it's nothing.
I find myself having a lot of thoughts about Ciel's reaction here. Is he reckoning with how close he came to death? Sebastian was going to eat him. Is he realizing that this is not really his comrade? Or is just growing up without his parents painful, like he's becoming a man without them, and there is some sadness in that? The version of him that his parents knew is further and further in the past. He's looking just like the man that he never got a chance to truly know. I'd love to hear thoughts about this if you have any comments. And then we end with the Undertaker slipping something to a sleeping Ciel in the night. So he snuck in without alerting Sebastian. And he doesn't tell Sebastian about it when he wakes up. Whether he thinks it was just a dream or doesn't want to share with Sebastian, I'm not sure. I don't think Ciel thinks of Sebastian as a true confidant, especially not after he was almost eaten. There's definitely setup for the return of the Undertaker, a lot more than I was expecting. We see a flashback of him speaking to Diedrich. There's a photograph of him and Vincent and 2 other boys when they were prefects at the school. Blue, green, red, and purple. Undertaker picks it up and refers to our youth, suggesting he's one of the boys in the photo. Maybe the red one, as he has light-colored hair? Or perhaps he was just at the same school. And he cries over Vincent, grieved and saddened by his death at such a young age. So it certainly seems like they were friends. I haven't watched season 1 of Black Butler in years, but I know that Undertaker was a source of information for Ciel. So it stands that he could be part of this whole secret underground criminal investigative world. I don't recall in season 1 if Ciel mentioned that the Undertaker knew his father. I think a rewatch is in order. But how would such a boy, one who went to that school, end up as an Undertaker? No. That's the wrong question. He became an Undertaker because he was a runaway Reaper. The question is, why did he end his life? He would have had to in order to become a Reaper. Does it have something to do with this image that appeared when the Reapers were discussing why one of them might go AWOL? These two do look like the boys standing in the back. Or could Vincent be this dark-haired one? I really don't think so. But the question still remains as to where is the fourth prefect? I am very, very intrigued. Undertaker also referred to the other Phantom Hive Earl, so is that Ciel or someone else? I really love all these tasty seeds that have been planted in the story. The mangaka Yana Toboso did some really great storyboarding. I also must note that we meet a pair of German Reapers, and it didn't occur to me that they would have different nationalities. When I first saw Sasha, I thought, oh, a lady Reaper, but I'm not too sure what their gender is, and on the Black Butler Wicca, the gender is listed as undetermined, so maybe not. Through their conversation, we learn that Reapers are humans that committed suicide and must repent for their sins.
Humans who died by their own hand and were turned into Grim Reapers as punishment. Until we are forgiven, we'll be worked to the bone, curating a museum of other people's deaths.
Sasha goes on to admire humans' ability to find greater and greater ways to kill each other, and oh how she would love a world war. So, we can blame the Great War on this particular Reaper. They jinxed humanity. All in all, it was great to learn more about the Reapers. There's also a moment when Ciel seems to sense the pair watching him and Sebastian, and Ludgar remarks that it's unusual that Ciel can see them. And I did not consider that. It would be weird for a human to be able to see Reapers, wouldn't it? They suggest that it could be because of his deal with Sebastian. He's got one foot in the grave, so that allows him to see Reapers. But then Sasha looks at his family tree and suggests that this ability is not surprising given his lineage, which creates a whole new question in my mind. Is there something special about Ciel in the supernatural realm? That would make sense, because how was this little boy able to summon a demon in the first place? Curiouser and curiouser. Another remarkable moment was Tanaka turning out to be a skilled samurai with a katana. I actually gasped. Who knew he'd just been in low power mode this whole time? I assumed he was the only ordinary member of staff, which perhaps I shouldn't have. I believe Tanaka was part of Ciel's parents' staff, and a comment from Daedric leads me to believe that Ciel got his idea for hiring staff with special skills from his father. So it makes sense that he's not just an ordinary butler, and I do hope we get to see more cool moments from him in the future. I adore Sebastian's voice actor J. Michael Tatum. He voices another favorite character of mine, Rentaro Okabe, and both performances are excellent. He has perfected that constantly slightly amused tone that Sebastian has, and I feel like he has a good time with the role. Here are some Sebastian highlights.
Ich freue mich, Sie heute kennenzulernen.
Come now, my lord. That was an act of phoneticide. Now try again.
He said the wine cellar was to the right. That way's to the left, right? Inquires Oscar.
His directions were endearingly straightforward. But I never actually said that I was going to get more wine. Oh dear. It would seem the roast has slipped out of the oven.
And he is also behind the voice of Owen Smith, delivering one of the most spine-tingling performances in anime history, and I really got to admire the range. And also Brina Palencia is excellent as Ciel, and he had a lot going on in this season, and she delivered a top-notch performance when he's in the cage and he screams, "I did it for me." Goosebumps moment. This season brought to the surface a lot of Ciel's pain and developed his character a lot. Enjoy is not the right word, but it's good story development to see him knocked down and have to pull himself back up again. Now I'm just listing my favorite things, but I also really enjoyed the intro, both the song and the animations. I don't like it when there's spoilers in the intro, and this one towed the line nicely and sets up the spooky gothic vibes well. And the outro song was great too. The solemn piano leaves me feeling melancholy and a little choked up, which suits a lot of the heavier aspects of the season. This song plays when Wolfram is running after the train, and it's always impactful when the intro or outro song plays in the anime. I really appreciated that. It's clear that a lot of work goes into making Black Butler. I found myself really noticing all the intricate details in the backgrounds and settings, the details on the doorknobs and the furniture and the walls and a dozen other things in every given scene. All this attention to detail immerses the audience in the setting. It's so lovely and lush. This anime is a feast for the eyes, and it's often really quite beautiful. And now I have to end it here. This video is a lot longer than I anticipated when I started writing the script, and I found I just had more and more to say. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I've made other Black Butler videos if you'd like to check those out. Comment down below if you'd like to say hi or talk about this video. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you have a great week. I'm Kayla. See you in the next one. Bye.